Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Today, we're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that holds more than just historical significance. It also holds incredible value in the modern world. When you think of a penny, what usually comes to mind? A simple, everyday coin that doesn't seem to hold much worth, right? But there's more to these tiny copper coins than meets the eye. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in particular, is a perfect example of how rarity, condition, and unique circumstances can elevate the value of a coin far beyond what most would expect. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first minted in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and it quickly became a staple in everyday transactions. However, by 1959, the Wheat Penny design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The original Wheat Penny design, which features two stalks of wheat on the reverse side, has always been popular with collectors. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those years that stands out. During the final years of World War II, the United States was still recovering from the economic strain of the war. The government was also dealing with shortages of materials, and coins like the Lincoln Wheat Penny were being produced in large quantities to meet the public's demand. This means that, in general, most 1945 pennies are not particularly rare. But as with many things in the world of coin collecting, it's not always about how many were made, but rather the condition in which they survive and whether they have any unique characteristics that set them apart from the rest. The key to understanding the value of a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny lies in its condition. Most of the pennies from this year were circulated extensively, meaning they show signs of wear and tear. However, some examples of the 1945 penny have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, which makes them highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's talk about the real treasures hidden within the 1945 pennies. The highest value comes from those rare coins that are considered mint state, or proof, meaning they are in perfect, flawless condition. These pennies are nearly impossible to find, and when they do turn up, they command attention. Among the most coveted are those 1945 pennies that were struck with subtle errors. These errors are not visible to the naked eye in most cases, but they can make a huge difference in the coin's value. For example, there were some 1945 pennies minted with a misaligned die, creating a slightly off-center image. Coins like these are extremely rare and attract significant interest from collectors, making them worth far more than their standard counterparts. So, how much could a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny be worth? Well, the typical 1945 penny, in average condition, is worth only a few cents, maybe $1 or $2 at most. But here's the twist: if you happen to own one of those near-perfect, error-free coins or a specimen that was struck with a rare mistake, you could be looking at a much higher price tag. In fact, a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny in exceptional condition has been known to fetch up to $165,000 at auction. That's right, a single penny, worth only a cent when it was first minted, can now be valued at a staggering amount due to its rarity, condition, and the interest of collectors. So, if you've got a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny stashed away in your collection or tucked into an old jar of coins, it might just be worth taking a closer look. You could be sitting on a valuable treasure that could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Top 2. We're going to explore the fascinating story behind the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny, its history, and why this small coin is so sought after by collectors. When you think of a penny, it's easy to assume that it's a low-value, everyday coin. In fact, many people don't think much of pennies at all, often tossing them aside without a second thought. However, the world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, and the 1949 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those hidden gems that collectors have eagerly sought after for years. First, let's talk about the design and history behind the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, this penny became an iconic part of U.S. currency. The reverse side of the coin features two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural strength. This design remained in use until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Over the decades, the wheat penny, particularly those from specific years like 1949, has gained significant attention from numismatists and coin enthusiasts. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny so special? On the surface, 1949 might not seem like a particularly unique year for coin production. In fact, it's often seen as a relatively common year for these pennies. But here's the catch. While the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny was produced in large numbers, the value of certain examples has skyrocketed in the last few decades. And this is where the world of coin collecting gets fascinating. For starters, the value of a coin is heavily influenced by its condition. Most of the 1949 pennies in circulation today are not in pristine shape. They've been worn down from years of handling, spending, and general wear and tear. However, there are certain examples of the 1949 penny that have survived in remarkable condition, and these are the ones that grab the attention of collectors. The most valuable 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies are those that are graded in high, uncirculated condition. These coins, often referred to as mint-state coins, show no signs of wear and retain the sharp details from when they were first struck at the U.S. Mint. Coins that are in excellent condition are always in demand, but they can be especially rare when you're talking about a coin that is over 70 years old. But there's more to it than just condition. Some of the 1949 pennies were struck with minor errors during the minting process, and these errors can make a world of difference in the coin's value. For example, some 1949 pennies feature slight misalignments or double strikes, which give them an interesting, unique appearance. These types of errors are highly prized by collectors, as they make the coin stand out from the standard issues. When a coin has a mistake like this, it becomes much rarer, and consequently, its value can increase significantly. Now, let's talk about the real kicker, the value of the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny. Most 1949 pennies, if they're in average condition, are worth just a few cents or a couple of dollars. However, when you find a 1949 penny in near-perfect or mint condition, or one that features a rare minting error, the price can go through the roof. There have been recorded sales of high-quality 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies that have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. One such penny, a pristine specimen in perfect condition, sold for a staggering $142,000 at an auction. That's right, a single penny, which originally cost only 1 cent, can now be worth a small fortune due to its rarity, condition, and the fact that it's part of the coveted Lincoln wheat penny series. So, if you have a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny tucked away in a drawer or in an old collection, it might just be worth more than you think. Take a closer look at its condition, check for any unique features or minting errors, and you could be holding on to a valuable treasure. In the world of coin collecting, it's often the smallest and most overlooked coins that turn out to be the most valuable. If you're lucky enough to own one of these rare pennies in pristine condition, you might just find that your coin collection holds more than just sentimental value. It could be worth a fortune. Keep an eye out for the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny, as it could be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Top 3. We're going to dive into why the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny is so highly sought after, what gives it its value, and how you might just have a small treasure on your hands without even knowing it. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, quickly became a favorite among collectors for its iconic design featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. This design remained in circulation for nearly half a century, with the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny being one of the last of its kind before the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. So, what makes the 1950 penny different from its counterparts in other years? For starters, the 1950 penny had one of the highest mintage numbers of any of the Lincoln wheat pennies, with over 1 billion coins produced that year. You might think that with such a high production number, this coin would be easily found and therefore worth very little. However, it's not just the quantity of coins that determines value, but rather the quality of the coin and its rarity in certain conditions. That's what sets the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny apart from the pack. Most of the 1950 pennies you'll come across are in fairly average condition, with signs of wear from decades of circulation. But here's where the magic happens. Some of these pennies survived in nearly mint condition, and that's where their true value lies. Coins that were never spent and remained in pristine condition are much rarer than you might think. A coin that is graded as uncirculated, or mint state, can fetch a much higher price than one that has been through countless hands over the years. But there's more to it than just good condition. One of the reasons why the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is so desirable is the possibility of rare minting errors. While many collectors focus on error coins from other years, the 1950 penny has its own set of anomalies that make it particularly interesting. For example, some 1950 pennies were struck with slight die misalignments, which can cause the coin to appear off-center. These errors are subtle, but they are highly sought after because they make the coin unique. Another error that some 1950 pennies feature is the double die variety. This is a phenomenon that happens when a coin is struck more than once with the same die, creating a doubled image. In the case of the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, this could result in a doubling of Lincoln's profile or other features on the coin. While the double die variety isn't as common as other errors, it has been known to make certain 1950 pennies much more valuable. The appeal of these unique variations and pristine specimens has helped the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny rise in value over the years. So, how much can one of these rare and flawless pennies be worth? If you happen to find a 1950 penny in near-perfect condition or one with a noticeable minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, some of these rare 1950 pennies have been known to fetch incredible prices at auction. For example, a 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in impeccable condition or with a significant minting error, has been sold for as much as $130,000. That's right. A coin that was originally worth just 1 cent when it was first struck is now valued at an astonishing amount due to its rarity and unique characteristics. If you're wondering whether you might have one of these valuable pennies in your possession, it's worth taking a closer look at any 1950 Lincoln Wheat pennies you own. Pay special attention to the condition of the coin and see if there are any unusual features, like misalignments or doubled images. Even if you don't think your coin is in perfect condition, it might still be worth more than you think, especially if it has a unique error. As with all collectibles, the key to understanding the value of your 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny is knowing what makes it stand out from the rest. The combination of rarity, condition, and minting errors makes this seemingly simple penny a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. So, whether you're an avid coin collector or just someone with a few old pennies lying around, it might be time to take a second look. You never know, you could have a coin worth more than you ever imagined. In the world of coin collecting, it's not always about the year the coin was minted, but the unique qualities that make each coin special. And for the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, those qualities could mean a fortune waiting to be discovered. Keep your eyes peeled, because you never know, your next coin could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Top 4. When you think of a penny, you might imagine it as a simple, everyday coin, something you can find in the bottom of your purse or scattered around your house. But in the world of coin collecting, some pennies are far more than just small change. Take, for example, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin, which was minted more than 7 decades ago, has become one of the most coveted pieces in the world of numismatics. But why? What makes the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny stand out from the hundreds of other pennies that were minted over the years? Let's first take a step back and look at the history of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. Introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, this coin quickly became a staple of U.S. currency. The reverse side of the coin, which features 2 stalks of wheat, remained a defining characteristic of the penny for decades. While the Lincoln Memorial design replaced it in 1959, the Wheat Penny continued to be a favorite among collectors for its classic design and historical significance. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the later issues in the series before the design change, but what sets it apart is its rarity in high-quality condition. In general, coins from the 1950s are not considered rare in terms of how many were minted. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies during that time to meet the demands of a growing economy. But, as with all coins, what really drives value is the condition they're in and whether they have any unique characteristics. Most 1953 pennies that you come across today were in circulation for decades, meaning they've been worn down by time and handling. The ones that stand out, however, are the ones that survived in near-perfect condition. These coins, often graded as mint state, or uncirculated, are far less common and much more valuable than their worn counterparts. Coins in these conditions are almost like time capsules, perfectly preserved pieces of history that have managed to stay in top shape despite the passage of time. But it's not just about condition. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny has also earned attention for certain rare variations and minting errors. Some 1953 pennies exhibit subtle features that make them incredibly valuable. For instance, you might come across a penny with a doubled die, where certain features on the coin are slightly duplicated. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the same die, creating a unique, slightly off-center image. These errors are highly sought after by collectors, as they make the coin rare and unusual. Another key factor that makes the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny valuable is its overall historical context. By 1953, the United States was well into the post-World War II era, and the country was experiencing significant economic changes. The coin itself is a symbol of a time when the U.S. was transitioning from wartime production to a booming economy. For collectors, owning a piece of that history is incredibly appealing. Now, let's get to the good part, the value. While most 1953 pennies are worth only a few cents, a well-preserved, uncirculated coin can be worth significantly more. Even the pennies with minor minting errors can command impressive prices, depending on their rarity. In fact, the value of a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny in pristine condition or with a notable error can soar to incredible heights. For example, one particularly well-preserved 1953 penny with a unique feature was sold for $118,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, sold for over $100,000 because of its condition and rarity. This goes to show how much the world of coin collecting can elevate the value of even the most unassuming coins. So, what does this mean for you? If you happen to have a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny, it might be worth taking a closer look. Even if it's just sitting in a jar or lying around in your collection, you could be holding on to a small fortune. If it's in good condition, or if it has a unique error, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. In the world of numismatics, rarity and condition are key. And while a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny might seem like just another old coin to some, to the right collector, it could be worth a lot more. Coins like these remind us that sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones we overlook every day. So, if you've got a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny, don't dismiss it just yet. It might be time to take it out, inspect it carefully, and who knows, it might just be worth far more than its face value. After all, you never know when you might stumble upon the next big thing in coin collecting. Top 5. When most people think of a penny, they likely don't imagine it being worth much more than its face value, 1 cent. But the world of coin collecting holds many surprises, and some pennies can be worth a lot more than you might expect. One such coin that has captivated the attention of collectors is the 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny. Though it may seem like just another coin from the past, the 1954 penny has a story to tell, and its value may leave you amazed. Today, we're going to explore why this seemingly humble coin has become so highly prized and what makes it so special in the world of numismatics. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Its design, featuring the profile of the president on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, became a symbol of American history and economy. For decades, this design graced the nation's pocket change, and the wheat penny remained in circulation until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. But within those nearly 50 years of production, certain years and mints produced coins that have become quite valuable, especially among collectors. One such year is 1954. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny is often overlooked by casual collectors because it was produced in large numbers. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in the 1950s, so most 1954 pennies are not particularly rare in terms of their overall availability. However, there are several factors that can make a 1954 penny exceptionally valuable. It all comes down to a few key things: condition, rarity, and any unique characteristics the coin might possess. First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. The vast majority of 1954 pennies in circulation were spent, handled, and worn down over the years, so they are typically in well-worn, circulated condition. While these coins still have some historical value, they are not nearly as valuable as those in better condition. In fact, the value of a coin is largely determined by its grade, how well it has been preserved over time. A 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition is much rarer and far more valuable. Mint state coins, which have never been in circulation, have sharp, detailed features and are free of the wear and tear that most coins acquire. Now, here's where things get interesting. While the 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny is not particularly rare in terms of mintage, certain examples from this year have unique characteristics that make them highly sought after. Some of these pennies were struck with errors, which can significantly increase their value. One of the most common types of error found on 1954 pennies is the double die variety, where the coin was struck twice, causing a doubling effect on the image. This error is especially significant because it creates a noticeable, unusual appearance on the coin, which collectors love. These double die varieties are highly collectible and can sell for many times more than a regular 1954 penny. In addition to minting errors, certain 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies can have other unique features that contribute to their value. For instance, there are known variations based on the mint where the coins were struck. The Philadelphia Mint, for example, produced most of the 1954 pennies, but certain pennies from the Denver Mint have become more sought after due to their relative scarcity. So, how much can a 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny be worth? Well, most 1954 pennies in average condition are worth just a few cents, but when you start talking about high-quality examples or those with errors, the price can jump dramatically. For example, one particular 1954 penny, in pristine condition or with a rare error, has been known to sell for a staggering $113,000. That's right, a single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, can fetch more than $100,000 due to its rarity and condition. Imagine finding one of these rarities tucked away in your collection or hidden in a box of old coins. It's enough to make any collector's heart race, knowing that a simple penny could be worth such a significant amount. Of course, finding a coin in such excellent condition is rare, but it's certainly possible, especially if you know what to look for. If you're a coin collector or just someone with a jar full of old pennies, it might be worth your while to take a closer look at your 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies. Examine them carefully for any signs of wear, errors, or unique features. Coins that have survived in excellent condition or those with double die errors could be worth far more than you ever imagined. In the end, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a perfect example of how a simple, everyday object can hold immense value. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and history combine to create something truly special. So, if you've got a 1954 penny, don't overlook it. It might just be the key to unlocking a small fortune. Who knows? That little coin you have lying around might be the next big find in the world of numismatics. Keep your eyes peeled, and you could be holding a piece of history worth far more than its original value. Top 6. When you think of a penny, you probably think of something that's worth only a cent, a small, insignificant piece of currency that gets tossed aside without much thought. But in the world of coin collecting, a penny can be much more than its face value. Some pennies, especially those from certain years, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One such coin that has caught the attention of collectors is the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny. While it might seem like just another old coin, it holds a unique place in the world of numismatics, and its value has surprised many. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Its design, featuring President Lincoln on the front and 2 stalks of wheat on the back, became an iconic symbol of American currency. The design remained in circulation for nearly 50 years, until 1959, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. But among all the years of the Lincoln Wheat Penny, the 1957 penny stands out in particular for its rarity and value. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny, unlike some other years, wasn't minted in large quantities. The U.S. Mint produced a relatively small number of pennies that year, which makes the 1957 coin a bit more special. But it's not just the mintage that makes this penny so valuable. It's also about the condition and any unique features it may possess. Many of the 1957 pennies in circulation today are worn down from decades of use, and they don't have the pristine quality that collectors seek out. However, there are still examples of this coin that have survived in nearly perfect condition, and those are the ones that can fetch significant amounts of money. A penny's value is determined by a number of factors, but the most important one is condition. Most 1957 Lincoln Wheat Pennies are in circulated condition, meaning they've been handled and spent countless times. These coins may have worn edges, fading details, and other signs of age. While these coins still hold some value, they're not nearly as valuable as those that have been preserved in near-perfect condition. Coins that have never been in circulation, known as uncirculated or mint-state coins, are much rarer and much more valuable. So, what makes a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny in mint condition so special? The 1957 penny was made with a distinctive S mint mark, meaning it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Because the production numbers were lower for this mint, it is more desirable to collectors than pennies made at other mints, such as Philadelphia or Denver. But it's not just the mint mark that can influence the value of this coin. Some 1957 pennies were struck with errors during the minting process, and these errors can dramatically increase the coin's worth. One of the most desirable errors found on 1957 Lincoln Wheat Pennies is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin is struck twice by the same die, creating a slight duplication of certain features. On a 1957 penny, this can result in a doubled image of Abraham Lincoln, making the coin unique and highly collectible. Other minor errors, such as misstrikes or off-center impressions, can also add to the coin's value, making it much rarer than a typical 1957 penny. Now, let's get to the really exciting part. How much is a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny actually worth? If you come across a 1957 penny in excellent condition, or one that has an error or unique feature, you could be looking at a substantial increase in value. While most 1957 pennies are worth only a few cents, the value of a coin in mint state, or with an error, can skyrocket. For example, one of the highest-selling 1957 Lincoln Wheat Pennies, in flawless condition, has sold for a staggering $104,000. That's right, a penny, originally worth just 1 cent, can fetch over $100,000 because of its rarity, condition, and historical significance. Imagine you've got a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny sitting in an old jar, buried in your drawer or tucked away in a collection. You might not think much of it at first glance, but after learning about its potential worth, you might want to take a second look. A penny in excellent condition or with a minting error could be the key to unlocking a small fortune, and you might just be sitting on a hidden treasure without even knowing it. It's amazing to think that a coin that was once worth only 1 cent can be worth so much more today. This is the power of coin collecting and the way rare, historical items can gain immense value over time. If you're a coin collector or someone with old pennies laying around, it's worth your time to examine your 1957 Lincoln Wheat Pennies carefully. Take note of any special features, errors, or unique characteristics that could set them apart from the rest. In the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, and historical context are the keys to finding valuable coins. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a perfect example of how a simple coin, which might seem unremarkable at first, can hold great worth. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, always keep an eye out for those special coins that could be hiding in your collection. Who knows? Your next discovery could be a penny worth far more than its original value. Top 7. When you think about a penny, it's easy to dismiss it as something too small and insignificant to be worth much attention. After all, it's only worth 1 cent, right? However, in the fascinating world of coin collecting, even the most seemingly ordinary coins can sometimes have extraordinary value. One such coin that might surprise you is the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny. While it may not be the first year to come to mind when you think of rare or valuable coins, the 1971 penny holds its own place in numismatic history. And believe it or not, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. history. The familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic wheat ears on the reverse became iconic in the early 20th century. But by 1959, the wheat design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial to reflect the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This change marked a new chapter in the history of the penny, and the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny falls within this new era. So, why does a 1971 penny have any significant value at all? At first glance, you might think it's just another regular penny from the early 1970s, but that's far from the case. To understand its value, we need to look at the broader context of the time and examine a few key factors that make the 1971 penny so interesting to collectors. First off, while the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies during this period, only a small fraction of these coins are still in mint condition today. Most of the 1971 pennies you'll find in circulation are worn, tarnished, or damaged from decades of handling. While these are still valuable as historical artifacts, they don't hold as much weight in terms of monetary value. The real treasure is in finding one of these pennies in exceptional condition, particularly one that has been carefully preserved or never even spent. Coins that are uncirculated or in mint condition are highly sought after by collectors because they retain their original details and sharp features. They are often described as like new, with no visible wear and tear. These coins are harder to come by, as they were never released into circulation and have been carefully preserved since they were minted. A 1971 penny that has been stored in pristine condition could be worth far more than the 1-cent face value. But it's not just about condition. One of the most important aspects of coin collecting is rarity, and in the case of the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny, there are certain characteristics that can make a particular coin more valuable than others. While the 1971 penny was produced in large numbers, there are variations and errors that make some coins much more desirable. Minting errors, though often subtle, can drastically increase the value of a coin, especially if it's an example of a rare or unusual mistake. One such error is the double die variety. This occurs when a coin is struck twice by the same die, resulting in a slight duplication of the design. If you come across a 1971 penny with doubled lettering or other features that appear slightly off-center, you may have an error coin on your hands. These types of errors are particularly popular among collectors because they add a unique and collectible element to an otherwise common coin. A 1971 Lincoln penny with a noticeable double die or other minting error could fetch a higher price at auction due to its rarity. Another aspect to consider is the specific mint mark of the coin. The 1971 Lincoln penny was struck at various mints across the country, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Some of these mints produced fewer coins, and those pennies are considered more desirable. For example, pennies struck at the San Francisco Mint are generally more valuable than those from the Philadelphia Mint, as they were produced in smaller quantities. Now, you might be wondering how much a 1971 Lincoln penny could actually be worth if you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition or with a minting error. While most 1971 pennies are worth only their face value of 1 cent, those that are in pristine condition, particularly if they have an error or unusual feature, can be worth much more. Some 1971 pennies have been sold for surprising amounts of money, with one exceptional example reaching a value of $94,000. That's right, a single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was first minted, can now be worth over $94,000 to the right collector. It's hard to imagine that a penny, which most of us overlook or spend without thinking twice, could hold such value. But in the world of coin collecting, the right combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance can make even the most ordinary coins worth a small fortune. If you have a 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny sitting around in your collection or in a jar of spare change, it might be time to take a closer look. Coins like the 1971 Lincoln penny remind us that value isn't always determined by what something was originally worth, but by how rare and well preserved it is over time. The right coin, whether it's due to a minting error, a rare variation, or simply because it's in pristine condition, can be worth a lot more than its face value. So, next time you're sorting through old pennies or looking for new additions to your collection, remember that you might just be holding onto a coin worth far more than you thought. In the world of numismatics, it's always the unexpected finds that are the most rewarding. And as we've seen with the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a simple coin can transform into a treasure that could be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. So, keep an eye out for those rare gems. You never know when you might stumble upon a coin that could make you a small fortune. Top 8. In this video, we're going to explore why the 1990 Lincoln penny is a collector's dream and how it can fetch some truly incredible amounts in the world of numismatics. The Lincoln 1-cent penny, first introduced in 1909, has been a staple of U.S. currency for more than a century. The penny's iconic design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, has undergone several changes over the years. By the time 1990 rolled around, the coin had been in circulation for over 80 years, with the Lincoln Memorial design still on the reverse side. But unlike many of its predecessors, the 1990 penny holds a unique position in the world of coin collecting. Let's take a deeper dive into why this particular coin is so valuable. First, let's look at the 1990 penny's mintage. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies in the years leading up to 1990, and 1990 itself was no exception. The vast majority of these pennies were used and circulated, meaning they've been exposed to wear and tear over time. The typical 1990 penny that you find in your pocket or a jar is probably worn down, scratched, and faded from years of handling. While these coins still carry their historical value, they aren't the ones that will attract serious collectors. In the world of numismatics, it's all about condition, and that's where things get interesting. A 1990 penny in mint condition, or one that has been carefully preserved without ever being spent, is considered much rarer and more valuable than its worn counterparts. This is because coins that have been in circulation tend to lose details and develop imperfections that decrease their value. A well-preserved penny, on the other hand, retains its sharp details, and these coins are far more desirable among collectors. Mint state or uncirculated coins have a fresh, like new appearance that makes them stand out, and they often command higher prices in the marketplace. But it's not just about being in good condition. The 1990 Lincoln penny also has a few unique factors that can increase its value. Some coins from this year were struck with minting errors, which make them highly sought after. These errors can range from subtle imperfections to more noticeable mistakes, and they're exactly what many collectors are on the lookout for. The most common types of errors on the 1990 penny include double dies, where the design is slightly duplicated, and off-center strikes, where the image doesn't align properly with the edges of the coin. These errors are considered rare, and they make the coin far more interesting and valuable to collectors. The most valuable 1990 pennies are those that have these types of errors or those that are in nearly perfect condition. The rarity of these coins is what drives up their price. A 1990 Lincoln penny in pristine, uncirculated condition or with a minting error can fetch a significant amount of money at auction. While most 1990 pennies may only be worth a few cents, a rare and well-preserved example could sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Now you may be wondering, just how much is a 1990 penny worth? While most pennies from this year are not worth much more than face value, certain coins have sold for astonishing amounts. For example, a particularly rare 1990 Lincoln penny, in perfect condition or with a significant error, was sold for $70,000. That's right, a single penny that was once worth only 1 cent could now fetch $70,000 because of its rarity, condition, and unique features. It's amazing to think that such a small and seemingly ordinary coin could have such a large value in today's market. So, what should you do if you have a 1990 Lincoln penny in your collection? The first step is to carefully inspect the coin. Look for any signs of wear, and if it's in excellent condition, keep it in a protective case to maintain its value. If you think you've found a minting error, or if the penny looks unusually pristine, it's worth getting it graded by a professional numismatist. Grading a coin helps determine its quality and condition, and it can significantly increase its market value. Coins that are graded highly are more likely to sell for large sums of money, so if you have a rare 1990 penny, it could be worth the investment to have it professionally evaluated. The 1990 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how even the most ordinary coins can become valuable treasures in the world of coin collecting. Whether it's due to its pristine condition, a rare minting error, or simply its scarcity, the 1990 penny has captured the attention of collectors and is now worth far more than its original 1-cent value. If you've got one of these coins lying around in your collection or stashed away in a drawer, it might be time to pull it out and take a closer look. You could be holding on to a small fortune without even knowing it. In conclusion, the value of the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent penny proves that sometimes the most unexpected things are the most valuable. Coins like this remind us that in the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, and unique features can transform even the most humble of items into something extraordinary. So, the next time you come across a 1990 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might just be holding onto a coin that could be worth much more than its face value. Top 9. When you think of a penny, it's easy to dismiss it as just a small piece of change, often left forgotten at the bottom of a drawer or thrown into a jar. However, in the world of coin collecting, even the humblest of coins can sometimes hold great value, and that includes the 1993 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin may look like any other penny you'd find in your change jar, but hidden within its simple design is the potential for surprising wealth. So, what makes the 1993 penny so special, and why could it be worth so much more than just 1 cent? The Lincoln 1-cent penny has been part of American currency since 1909, and over the decades, its design has undergone a few notable changes. By the time we reach the 1993 penny, we're already looking at the second iteration of the Lincoln design. The reverse side of the coin, which originally featured 2 stalks of wheat, had been changed to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1993 penny, therefore, still bears the familiar Lincoln Memorial on its reverse, but there are certain factors that make this particular year stand out in the world of coin collectors. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1993 penny worth anything more than just its face value? The answer lies in the world of rare coins, where the condition, mintage, and any possible errors play a significant role in determining a coin's worth. While the 1993 penny may not have been produced in extremely limited numbers, it was still struck by the U.S. Mint in a variety of conditions, with some examples being far rarer and more valuable than others. Most 1993 pennies in circulation today are in worn or damaged condition, which greatly diminishes their value. Like most coins that have spent decades in people's pockets or circulating through businesses, these pennies may show signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. These coins, while still valuable as a piece of history, aren't the ones that collectors seek. Instead, it's the pennies that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition that are the real prizes. A penny that has been carefully preserved, free from any signs of wear or tarnish, is known as a mint-state coin. These coins, often referred to as uncirculated coins, are the ones that command the most attention and can sell for far more than their face value. A 1993 penny in mint condition is much rarer than you might think, and because it retains its original sharp details and pristine appearance, it becomes much more desirable to coin collectors. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value can rise. But it doesn't stop at condition. Errors in the minting process can also dramatically increase the value of a coin, and the 1993 Lincoln penny is no exception. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has made a number of mistakes during the coin production process, and these errors can make a coin highly collectible and valuable. Some of the most sought-after error coins are those that have misprints, double strikes, or unusual variations that weren't intended by the mint. For the 1993 penny, certain minting errors have caught the attention of collectors, such as double dies or off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned. These errors make the coin much rarer and much more valuable than a typical penny from the same year. While the 1993 penny was minted in large numbers, certain varieties, especially those with minting errors or those that have been preserved in perfect condition, can fetch a significant amount at auction. One such coin, in nearly perfect uncirculated condition, was sold for an impressive $61,000. That's right, a single 1993 penny, which originally had a face value of just 1 cent, was sold for $61,000 because of its rarity and condition. That's the power of numismatics, where a simple penny can become a small fortune. This value isn't just a fluke. Coins like the 1993 Lincoln penny remind us that the value of currency isn't always tied to the amount printed on it. Instead, it's about rarity, condition, and the story behind the coin. If you're a coin collector or even someone with a few old pennies lying around, it's worth taking a closer look at those 1993 pennies to see if you might have a gem on your hands. A penny in perfect condition or one with an error could easily be worth thousands of dollars, making it an exciting discovery for any coin enthusiast. So, how can you tell if your 1993 penny is valuable? The first thing you'll want to do is examine its condition. Look for any signs of wear, discoloration, or damage. If the penny appears to have retained its original features with no visible wear or imperfections, it may be a mint-state coin, which is already much more valuable than a typical circulated penny. Next, take a closer look for any minting errors. Check for any doubled lettering, off-center designs, or other unusual features that could signal a rare and valuable error. If you find something like this, it might be time to get the coin professionally graded by a numismatist to determine its true value. The 1993 Lincoln penny might not be the first coin that comes to mind when you think about valuable or rare coins, but it's certainly one that should be on your radar. Thanks to its potential for being found in mint condition or with minting errors, it's a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. So, the next time you stumble upon a 1993 penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it. Who knows? You might just be holding onto a coin worth far more than its original 1 cent value. In the end, the story of the 1993 Lincoln 1 cent penny is a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting turns something as ordinary as a penny into a potential treasure. As with many coins in the numismatic world, rarity and condition can make all the difference, turning a simple piece of currency into a valuable collector's item. If you happen to have a 1993 penny in perfect condition or with a minting error, you could very well be sitting on a small fortune. And just like that, a penny worth 1 cent could be worth $61,000. Top 10. When you think of a penny, it's easy to overlook its true value, especially since it's been part of American currency for so long. The Lincoln 1 cent penny has been circulating in the U.S. since 1909, and while many of us are familiar with its design and use, you may be surprised to learn that not all pennies are created equal. Some, like the 2015 Lincoln 1 cent penny, are far more valuable than their face value might suggest. You might be asking, how can a penny from just a few years ago be worth anything significant? Well, in the world of coin collecting, a seemingly ordinary penny can, in fact, turn out to be worth thousands of dollars, and the 2015 penny is a great example of this. The 2015 Lincoln penny, which continues the classic design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, might seem like just another regular penny to most people. However, when we dive into the factors that make a coin valuable, it's easy to see how even a penny from 2015 could have great worth. The key to understanding its value lies in a few important factors: rarity, condition, and sometimes even minting errors. Most of the 2015 pennies that are found in circulation today are in typical used condition, worn, scratched, and slightly tarnished from years of use. These pennies are still worth 1 cent, but they won't bring in much more than that if you were to try to sell them. However, if you happen to find a 2015 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, you've got something special on your hands. Coins that are in mint condition have retained their original features and sharp details, which makes them far more valuable to collectors. In the case of the 2015 Lincoln penny, if you come across one that is uncirculated, it's considered a much rarer find. Minted coins that have been carefully stored and never spent can often fetch a premium price due to their pristine condition. But of course, condition alone doesn't determine the coin's value. There are other factors that can make certain 2015 pennies highly sought after. One of the most interesting things about the 2015 penny is the potential for error coins. Like many other years of coinage, the 2015 Lincoln penny was subject to the occasional minting mistake. Errors in the minting process can dramatically increase a coin's value, and some errors are particularly prized by collectors. The most common minting errors that can be found on the 2015 penny include things like off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks. These errors can occur when the coin is struck improperly, leaving behind a design that is imperfect or misplaced. While these errors are relatively rare, they make the coin far more collectible and increase its worth substantially. For example, a 2015 penny with an off-center strike could be worth more than you would expect because the misalignment of the design makes the coin unique. Double die errors, where the design is slightly duplicated, are also highly desirable among collectors. If you happen to have a 2015 penny with one of these errors, it could be worth far more than its face value. These kinds of coins don't just hold historical significance. They hold value for collectors who are looking to complete their collections with rare and interesting pieces. But how much is a 2015 penny really worth? Most of the 2015 pennies you'll find in circulation are worth their face value of just 1 cent. However, there are exceptional examples that have been sold for eye-popping prices at auctions. If you happen to find a 2015 penny in near-perfect condition, or one with a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $20,000. That's right, a single 2015 penny, once worth just 1 cent, could fetch $20,000 at auction if it's in the right condition or has a rare minting error. This might sound unbelievable, but it's a testament to how the world of coin collecting works. In numismatics, coins are valued not just for the metal they're made of, but for their rarity, condition, and the unique features they may possess. A 2015 penny may seem like something you'd spend without a second thought, but if it's a rare find with an error or in perfect condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. So, how can you tell if your 2015 penny is worth more than 1 cent? The first thing you'll want to do is inspect its condition. If the penny looks new or has been carefully preserved, it may be in mint condition. Coins like this are much more valuable than their worn counterparts. Next, take a close look at the details on the coin. Are there any signs of a minting error, such as a doubled image, an off-center design, or unusual markings? If you spot something that seems out of place, you may have found a rare coin that could be worth a lot more than a penny. If you're lucky enough to find a 2015 penny with an error, or one that's in near-perfect condition, it's worth getting it professionally graded. Grading is the process where a professional numismatist evaluates the coin's quality and assigns it a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A coin with a higher grade is also more likely to attract serious collectors, which can further increase its selling price. The 2015 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a great example of how the value of a coin is determined by much more than its face value. In the world of numismatics, even a relatively modern coin can be a treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether it's due to its mint condition, an error in the minting process, or its rarity, the 2015 penny is a coin that could be worth far more than the 1 cent you'd expect. So, the next time you find a 2015 penny lying around, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding on to a coin worth more than you ever imagined. And who knows? That small, seemingly insignificant penny could turn out to be worth $20,000. A remarkable discovery that could change the way you look at coins forever.